And let me pull up PowerPoint because that's what we're going to work in today. Hi guys, today is June 28th and we are going to do our very first PowerPoint session today. I hope that this is something that will be beneficial to you guys and you'll learn something from this. I am currently sharing my screen and you guys can see that PowerPoint is up on my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with this. PowerPoint is going to be easier for you guys probably than Excel. But most people don't use some of the options in PowerPoint that are commonly asked on there. But once I share them with you, you'll have it and it won't be any big deal to you. So for today's session, I'm going to click back occasionally to the and stop sharing occasionally just so I can make sure that you guys don't have any problems. You are more than welcome to text or call me if you're having some technical difficulty. I did not pull up the second screen today because I felt like it was misinforming me of issues on the screen and I was wasting time with that. So, but my number is 705-1726. If you got an issue while we're on here, I got that pulled up. So, okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. All right, these are some of the things that I want to share with you guys today. I already have a PowerPoint open that I've created, and I'm going to come back to this one. Some of the things that I'm going to share with you guys today are your slide size, changing your presentation view, using a slide master. That's probably one that you guys have not used before but will be very beneficial to you. Using sections, moving your slides, updating your properties, looking at your options, knowing where to get templates from, hiding and printing hidden slides, duplicating slides, modifying backgrounds with different variants, and headers and footers. So that's my goal for today, and all of these are things that you guys are going to see on the test. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to mention to you guys is using templates. So I'm going to go to File and New. When I get to this screen here, when I go to File and New, it already has a lot of templates available for me. It would not surprise me if everyone doesn't get a template question on their test. And often it will tell you where it's going to come from. All right? It might say in the business category, find a such and such theme, or find, and you can see all these categories that are listed over here under the business category, so like subcategories of it. You could also type in, if you were looking for a calendar, you could type in calendar and hit enter, and it will bring the calendars up for you. They usually have it pretty specific and detailed for you. So if you're looking for something in particular, you'll be able to find it fairly easily just based off of the search or the options that are there. But sometimes you do just kind of blank out. You might have used it 100 times and then all of a sudden you're like, where do I get that from? So it's just in your File and New, and you're so used to saying a blank presentation that you forget that there would be other themes and options out there for you. I'm going to click on Education. And I'm just going to select a theme that's here. Once you select a theme, you hit Create, and it will insert that in there for you. And if you don't want to use all of the slides over there, you don't have to. So let's look at the basic layout here. Whether you're on the PowerPoint I had earlier or whether you're using a template, they're all going to be structured the same way. If you look at the top of your tabs, you're going to have the same tabs you've had, or the same structure, really, that you've had. We've got a File tab, a Home tab, an Insert tab. This time, though, we have a Draw tab, and I might have that one added special because you can add special tabs in. We have a Design tab, a Transitions tab, an Animations tab. So we still have our tabs across the top, right? Then whenever we look at it, we still have our groupings, and some of these are still very consistent. We've got our clipboard grouping, our slides grouping, our font grouping, right? So we still have that there. And on a lot of these, we still have our little More button that's available to us, which is that little drill down in the bottom right corner of each grouping. So that kind of stuff is still the same. What you'll find is different is PowerPoints are made up of what's called slides. All right, and if you look over here on the left, you can see exactly how many slides I have here. This particular template has 11 slides, okay? So we've got 11 slides here, and we could choose from these and make modifications, all right? Let's say that I wanted to use this, but I wanted to delete some of these because I just don't need them, okay? So I could select a slide. To delete a slide, you simply select it and hit delete on your keyboard. It's that easy. Now my slide 4 has moved up to slide 3. Now, you could do this in your regular view right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take us over to the View tab. On the View tab, you can see here we've got Normal View, Outline View, Slide Sorter View, Notes Page View, and a Reading View, okay? This next Master's View, we'll go into that in a little bit, but not yet. A lot of these views can be seen down here on the task pane on the bottom. I'm in my Normal View now. After that, I've got my Slide Sorter View. Then I've got my Reading View. And then I've got my slideshow presentation. Okay? So I would like to click on my Slide Sorter View for just a second. If I look at this here, it's going to show me every single slide that's there. All right. If I want to delete a slide, I simply click on the slide that I want to delete and say delete. So it doesn't matter if I do that in my normal view or if I do that in my slide sorter view, both views will have the same option. All right. I'm going to decrease my view so I can see all of these. What if I wanted to move a slide? What if I wanted slide 3 to be at the end? If I just simply click and hold and drag, 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 I can move that slide to the end, okay? Now, I could do that same thing in my normal view. If slide 7 needs to be above slide 6, I will click on it, hold, and drag, 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 and drop. So that's how you move a slide, okay? To delete a slide is simply select and delete. To move is click and hold and drag, drag. All right? Now, I also want to share with you guys under the View tab, this Outline View. All right? The Outline View, and I know Danny might work with some ADA stuff. Brooke, it's probably not an issue for you. But if you are a Fable Tech employee, you often hear, it's got to be ADA compliant. All right? So if you look over here, what's listed in this Outline View is what a reader would read. So there's not a whole lot on this particular one because it's a template, it hasn't been filled in yet. But let's say if I go to this PowerPoint presentation here, all right, and I come up here and I go to View and Outline View, all right, everything that's listed over here on the left is what's going to be read. All right, that's what a reader will read. Okay, so here on slide 1, you can see it won't read anything, so that wouldn't be ADA compliant because there's no title there, and every slide has to have a title. So this file here is not ADA compliant, but after that, every slide has its own title, and you can see that here. Now, I'm going to go back to this template. You can click and add text over here if you wanted to. Now, most people do not use this. We all know of that one person who's got that real type A personality, and they see the world in outline. You know, everything is a task with a bullet under it, a task with a bullet under it. And so if that is the style of thinking that you do, so here I might come over here, I can modify this title right here, and I can instead say that this is going to be my semester schedule. And then I can add my other items in here. Even if this wasn't a template, I could still do the same thing. You know, we could type over here. So you can add things in this outline view. Most of us do not. Most of us add things here. And in order to add things in this view here, this would be our normal view, and that's how most people see it, we would click into our placeholder, okay? And type. All right? So it doesn't matter which way you do it, both ways are acceptable. Most people do not go into this outline view. It is great if you're making a presentation and you wanted to share the outline view, if you've got a lot of content in there. It's also great because it will show you what a reader would read, so you can double check and make sure the user's not missing out on any good information. All right? So let me just check and make sure that you guys don't have any questions so far. I know it's going to mess up the screen just a little bit. Okay, it looks like we're doing okay. So let me come back to this PowerPoint here. All right. All right. I'm going to come up here and just say File and New and pull the new blank presentation, which is probably what most of us would do. And I want you to see here that if it tells me to add a new slide in there, a lot of us are going to say, oh, I have to insert a slide, so I'm going to go to my Insert tab. Okay, so, but we're going to stay on this Home tab right here. And what I want to share with you is this. Each PowerPoint comes with an outline already that's going to kind of guide you through the PowerPoint. So here, this is called a placeholder. I first have to click into the placeholder in order to type. To get a subtitle, I have to click into the placeholder to type. Now, you might have a question that says, delete a placeholder. And so you click into the placeholder and you hit delete, and that's not going to take you anywhere. If it tells you to delete a placeholder, you must select the placeholder. Click on the placeholder and then say delete. That will take your placeholder away. Okay? I'm going to hit undo and bring that back because I want you to see that each PowerPoint presentation is going to start off with a basic click to add your title, click to add your subtitle, and even if all you do is click right here on the new slide button and just tell it to add another new slide, it will bring you into the basic layout, so it will guide you through. And if it tells me, if my question is create a blank 8-slide presentation, then I will just click this new slide button until I get to 8 slides. Okay? All right. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is, so far, this is what we've gone over. So far, we've just looked at basically the views and the layout. So over here, we've got our View tab, we've got our Normal, our Outline, and our Slide Sorter. We've learned how to move and how to delete. All right? So the next thing, I'm not sure, you can check. The next thing that I want to share with you guys here is, oh, and we also did to delete your placeholder, right? So you guys are cool with all that. All right. Oh, are they making noise? All right. Let's say that I have this blank presentation and I'm told to add a Word document into the presentation. Okay? We have been so used to in Word, if you're going to add external stuff in Word, we went to Insert, to the Object button, and chose Text, right? When we were in Excel, when we wanted to add external data, we went into the Insert and we chose Data and External Data, right? Well, if we're in PowerPoint and we want to add something from external, we're going to go to a new slide. All right, now that might seem a little crazy. I bet you each of you will have this question. The new slide, all right? So let me talk about this new slide button for a minute. If I come up here and I select new slide, it gives me the option to pull slides from an outline. I guarantee you that's probably what you're going to get. Can you go check the door for me? I guarantee you that's probably what you're going to get. Let me close this door. All right, now you're going to select slides from an outline, and then it's going to take you out to search for the outline. If the outline is a text document, and I don't have one prepared to import, I just wanted to share with you the steps. If it's a plain old text file and it's not formatted perfectly, it will just bring the text in and basically just a random order. It will place every item in its own piece. But it won't be in a detailed order. Now, if you had a Word document like here, like if I selected a Word document to add in there, and that document was separated by the headings, then it would place each of the headings in as a title. All right, so the biggest deal is you just need to know the steps on how to pull something from an outside file, external data. And you're going to do that by going to the Home tab, New Slide, Slides from Outline. Whether it's a PowerPoint, whether it's a Word document or whether it's a text document, that's where you're going to go. All right? Any questions about that? Let me check you guys out here and make sure. Any questions? We're still good? Good deal. Okay? Now, the next thing that I want to share with you guys is I'm going to look at this PowerPoint here. The next thing that I want to share with you is let's look at the other options under this new slide button. Okay? Here, because this here was a template that I used initially, I have the basic slides, title, and content, and then I have some extra ones that have been hand created or imported by my template. I've got a lot of custom designs in there, and I have a lot of extra options that come in from the gallery. If you're on a standard PowerPoint and you click on the new slide button, you get the basics. Title slide, title and content, section header, to content, comparison, title only, blank, content with caption, and picture with caption. These are the basic slide layouts. You will be asked to go in and change a slide layout. All right? If there's already text in there, and I come up here and I look, this here is a title and content. Okay? Now, if it's already created, if your slide is already created and you're changing the layout, you come up here to this layout button. It tells you you're in a title and content, and you change it to what you're asked to change it to content. The difference between that is over here, you're going to have one placeholder, and here you'll have one placeholder. It may even ask you something that sounds ridiculous to you, like, let me come back over here and let me say to reset. Here's a reset button. I'm going to reset this back to its original. It's not going to let me because I haven't done enough changes. All right, let me come over here and say that I would like to go back to title and content. So I'm back to a title and content. It may ask you to do something that you think is just crazy. It may say change the layout to content and then delete the second placeholder. So in that case, you click on the placeholder, right? Not in it. You click on it and hit delete. Okay? Cool deal for that one. So if you are asked to add a new slide with a specific layout, you would select the one it tells you. If you're asked to change the layout, you go to the layout button and select the one it tells you to select. If you're asked to reset something, here's the reset button. I don't have enough changes on this in order to reset it. Okay? So that's your basic slide layouts. So we've looked at this. We realize that there are different slide options here. All right, for a layout for a new slide. If we're going to change it, we go to the layout button. If it tells us to reset it, here's our reset button, but they would have already done enough stuff to manipulate it. And now we're going to look at the section button, but I'm going to bring us back over to this PowerPoint. In this particular PowerPoint here, I already have a section created. In order to view my section, right now I'm still in the outline view. I need to go back to my views, and I need to go to normal view. The normal view is the normal view that you guys will start off with. It allows you to see every slide as a thumbnail on the left. Okay, so I need to go back to our normal view. And you can see here on the left, I've already added a section in here. Why would you have a section? Well, because a PowerPoint is presentation software. What they do is they decide, well, you know, I might do the first part of the presentation, and then, you know, Tanner might do the second part. So it gives you options to select in here to identify that. So let's come in here. I'm going to click on slide 4, and maybe Tanner will start presenting with slide 4. I can go to new section, and I say that I'd like to add a section. I'm going to add a section in here. Then I can choose to click to rename it. I'm going to right click and rename. And I'm going to call this Tanner section, because this will be his section. Now, if Tanner gets from slides 4 through 8, and I don't want to see them because they're in my way, I can click on this little arrow to compress it. So your question might be, create a section for Tanner and compress his section so it's not viewed. All right? So that's the steps that you would take. Then it might tell you to delete a section. I can click on Tanner's section and right click and remove the selection, remove the section, but that does not remove my slides. It just removes me identifying it as Tanner's. I'm going to say undo. I want to leave Tanner's area there, and I'm going to go into that slide sorter view. But I'm going to click it from the bottom of my screen, and I'm going to decrease the view here. And you can see it divides it up. Tori's section is the first 3 slides. Tanner's is the last 5 slides. Okay, so I can easily see that it's sectioned out there as well. So if you're asked to create a section, you'll know how to do that. You click on the slide, it adds the section above the area. If you're asked to rename, you can use that same button, or you can right click on your section and get almost all of the items that you need. If you have placed your section cutter in the wrong area, you can move it up. Oh, let's go back over here to this other view, or so that you've got your different view. If I want to move this slide here, I can move my slide up, and it's going to move Tanner's section to the beginning and then my section at the bottom, because it's all going to go by that grouping. If you put your section in the wrong space, delete it. Right click, remove all sections. Okay, I want it to go back to its original. There we go. All right, so any questions about slide layout, creating a slide, creating a section, renaming a section, moving a section, identifying or expanding a section? Are we cool with that? Let's see. Let's just double check. All right, I don't see anyone has typed anything in there, so let us continue on. All right. Now, the next biggest thing that I want to share with you guys is another view here. Let's take a look at another view. But I would like to go into this PowerPoint presentation here to look at this view. Or it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter which one you go into. A minute ago, we were on the View tab, and we looked at Normal View, Outline View, Slide Sorter View. We didn't look at the Notes page, but here's your Notes page. It would show your slide with your notes if you had notes typed in there. All right, we did not look at the Reading View. The Reading View is what it would look like at a kiosk if you were to put this into a kiosk. All right, I'm going to hit Escape to get out of that. All right, so but these are your different views right here. Now, the next thing I want to share with you guys is some of the most important views, and these are the things that you're not familiar with, the things that you may not have ever used before, but I'm going to tell you this. For those of you who are instructors in this course, or Fateful Tech instructors, and you get a PowerPoint from a publisher and you can't seem to get it ADA compliant. Or maybe let's say that you're creating your own PowerPoint, it needs to be ADA compliant, and you have to keep adding the same thing. Let me just share it with you. Let me go back to my normal view. And let's say on this particular PowerPoint here, I want my logo. So I'm going to do Insert in a Picture. You guys have done that 100 times already in the other softwares. Insert a picture, and I'm going to put a logo in there for my business. All right. I have the Great Job Business. Here we go. So I'd like to put a logo in there. See, I'm running 365, so as soon as I insert a picture, and I've done all my updates, as soon as I insert a picture, it gives me all these really cool options. Like, do you want it like this, or do you want it like that? If you're running the standard 2016, it won't do that. All right, now let's say that I want this same picture put on all of my slides in the bottom corner, like a logo. And so I do this, Control-C and Control-V, and I put it here, right? And then I have to come in here and resize it, and maybe I put it in the top right corner. Okay, Control C, go to slide 3, and then Control V again. All right, and then go to slide 4 and Control V and slide 5. But what's going to happen is it's not going to take all of your, you know how to make something ADA compliant, you have to have a title and you have to have your alt text, right? So right now, if I were to run my check for issues, check accessibility, it's going to tell me in all these I'm missing titles, and then it's going to find I'm missing reading order because I've added an image in the place where it doesn't belong. This here, okay, and then it's going to tell me also too that on my software, and I don't know how yours does it, mine tries to give me suggested text. If you don't have this option added into yours, yours would say that you had an error because there was no alt text. But on mine, I have it set up so it gives me suggested text, and but it's really accurate. So check this out. I really wouldn't do this way. I'm going to delete that because first of all, to make something ADA compliant, it's got to be inside of a placeholder. So if I were going to add a picture in here, I would have to add it inside of this placeholder in order for it to be ADA compliant. So for a lot of things, what happens is when you see, and it doesn't matter which one I use, right? A lot of times when you see the publisher slides, they have inserted images and stuff that are not in a placeholder, and that's one of the biggest issues that you'll have for ADA compliance on that. So a lot of times what you've got to do is go back and add a placeholder in there and put your item within a placeholder, because that's how a reader reads it. A reader would read this in a reading order of the title, the bullet, the title, the content, right? Which would be my picture. If this is not in a placeholder, it doesn't know where to read it, so it's out of its reading order, and so it's not going to tell you that it's ADA compliant. So all of that, just to share this with you, if you don't care about any of that and what I just told you for the last 3 minutes is just junk, then dump that from your head, but you still need to know these master slides. So I'm going to share this with you. If you want to put something on every slide, if you want to make an adjustment, if you want to add an image somewhere where there's no placeholder, what you want to do is work with your master slide. I guarantee you will have multiple questions about master slides. So I'm going to come up here to my View tab. I'm going to go into my Slide Master. This is like the behind the scenes. You know in Excel when you would do Control-tilde, or you would say view formulas, and that was kind of the behind scenes for Excel. This is kind of the behind scenes for PowerPoint. So what this here does is it tells you all these layouts that you get, they're all listed here. This is your main slide master right here, okay? And then here are your individual layouts, okay? Here is your title. Here is your title slide with your bullets, okay? Which is your content with your bullets on there. Okay. Tanner, can you take this for me, please? That phone call. Tanner will be my secretary. Okay. So the next thing that I want to share with you guys is it will ask you to add something. I'm going to tell you now it's going to ask you to add something from your master slide. If it doesn't tell you which slide to do, then you would choose the main master, which is at the top. Okay? It might tell you on your slide master to insert a layout for a picture. This little thing here is going to allow you to manipulate, insert your layout. Okay? And then you can go in and you could rename this layout if you want to. Let me make this more clear. If it asks you to go in and add something and not your own layout, if it asks you to go in and add something in there, all right, you want to add an item, it will generally give you an area that it wants to go. You'll use this main master up here if you want to add a theme, a color, a background style, something like that. Do I think that there's any need? really to go in and add a design to my master? No, because I can add that very quickly on a regular presentation. All right, so I don't really find the need for that. All of these items here, I can manipulate from my regular PowerPoint. So for me personally, would I do that? No, but it may ask you to do that. On your slide master, change your theme to Ion. On your slide master, change your color scheme to Office. On your slide master, change your font style to Calibri. On your slide master, change your effects to smoky glass. All right, so it will tell you to do these, different options. Now, if it wants you to add a piece into it, like add an area for a picture, it will tell you which layout to add it to. If you're not sure which layout you're on, lay your mouse over it. On the title slide, add an image placeholder. Here's my title slide. On your title and content layout, add a picture. Or on your section header layout, you see how it shows me the different layouts, right? All right, so let's say that on the title slide layout, it's going to ask me to insert a placeholder for a picture. I'm on my title slide layout. Let me exit out of here and come back to the beginning with this question. All right, on your title slide master view, add a picture placeholder. All right, so, well, now that I've changed that master view, this one looks way different, okay? But let's come over here and do this. View tab, view my slide master. On my title slide, select it. Insert placeholder. I have to choose which one. It will ask you to insert a placeholder for text, for a picture, for a chart, for a table, for smart art, media. You could see any of these. Don't let it stump you. They're all the same. All right? You're going to select it. It's going to give you a crosshair. You're going to decide where you want it. All right? Maybe I want it down here in the bottom. And that's all I have to do. But notice now I'm in my Drawing Tools tab. But I was in my Slide Master tab. I'm going to go back to my Slide Master tab and close my Slide Master view. Now, if I go to my title slide and I change this layout here to my title slide, down here, I've got a little place where I can add my picture. When you add a picture based off of a placeholder, it will save your reading order, and all you've got to do is add your alt text in there. Okay? Now, let's go add something else in there. I'm going to say that on my title and content slide, I want something added in there, okay? So we're going to do this again because you're going to see it, I promise. All right, let me close out of these. First, I'll go to View. Then I'll go to my Slide Master. Then I said I wanted to add something to my, let's add it to content, to the to content. On my to content, maybe I need to add a placeholder for a chart. Okay, I can add it anywhere I want. Doesn't matter. If it doesn't tell you, it doesn't matter where you add it. Once you've added it, it brings you to that format tab for that item. Okay, I don't need to format this, but I want to go back to my Slide Master and say Close Master View, close out of it. And here on after slide 2 or on slide 2, I'll change the layout here to my to content. And now my to content has the table on the side where I can insert a table. Okay? Now it didn't have that before. If it doesn't tell you to add it to one that's already there, all right, it actually pulls up Excel, so I'm good. If it doesn't tell you to add it to one that was already there, maybe it tells you to add a new slide master. Add a new slide master. Okay, so let's look back at that. Let me go to my View tab. Let me go to my Slide Master button. I'll have to insert a new slide master or insert a new layout. All right, depending on what the question is. Once I've inserted a new one, then I can go in and insert the placeholders that it's going to tell me to place in there. So that's mostly what you're going to see for that, okay? Maybe it's going to tell you to delete a particular master. Okay, let me close out of this master view and we'll go back in. To delete a master, you would go to View tab, Slide Master. You would lay your mouse on top of it and find the master that it asked you for. All right. And then you could delete it. This one is not going to allow me to delete because I didn't create that one, but this one I can, and delete. Okay. So what that does, though, is it will modify your whole master. Now, let's say that I wanted that picture placed on every one I didn't want to put it into. I didn't want to put that picture into every single slide. I can come in here and say that I'd like to insert a picture. Choose my picture in and place it in there from my master. Decide where I want it. I can make modifications to it. All right. And then you see it goes on every single slide. Every single slide it's on there. So if you're going to put something on every single slide, you can add it to the master. If you're going to put it on some slides, you can add a placeholder in there. All right. Now, if I come back over here to my slide master, close my master view, it's on every single slide. All right. And I can't delete it. I can't delete it because it's on my slide master. So for those of you who are teaching and you get a PowerPoint from your publisher and you try to click on something because it says it's not ADA compliant and you're not able to select that item, it's on your slide master. Let me see if you guys have any questions. Any questions about the slide master? I don't see anything typed in there. Okay. All right. I think you guys are still alive. Let's look at some more of this. Okay, so the slide master is a big deal. They could also ask you to make some sort of a modification with, let's look at this one. If I come in here and I say view my slide master here, it's going to be very different because this is one that I've created custom. I used a template. I went in and made some modifications to it, right? So it'll look a little bit different. But next to your slide master, I'm going to say close this. I'm going to go to view. What if it tells you to go to your notes master or your handout master? Here's your handout master, and it may ask you to change your handout master orientation. Change your handout master slides per page. On your handout master, remove your header, add a page number, remove a page number. The biggest deal is just being able to get here. Once you get here, these are some of the same things you guys have seen over and over again, and I feel really confident you'll be able to do that. All right, but there is more than one master, so be careful. You've got your slide master. That's where most of your questions will come from for your masters. Occasionally, some of you will get a handout master. Some of you may even get a notes master. Once you get in there, it'll tell you what to do. You only have a few options up here. All right, let me close out of that master view. All right. Oh, Danny said LOL. Okay, I heard a little comment come up there. I just wanted to check on it. Okay. All right, so there we go. That's your master view. No questions about that. I think you guys are good with that. Changing your presentation view. We did that. All right. You guys know how to change your presentation view. Just go up to your view. You know what I want to share with you guys? You may have realized on this PowerPoint here that you see these little stars. This one doesn't have, I thought this one had some stars on it. Let's see here. let's see here. I want to be in my normal view. There we go. You see these little stars over here under the 1, a star under the 2, a star under the 3. Those little stars are going to identify for you that there's animation in there. And this one here is a transition because when I click on that little star to play it, it's showing me a transition from one slide to the next. All right. So anytime you see a little star, it means there's some sort of animation there. If you click on it, it'll share with you what that is. So I just wanted to share with you what those stars mean in case you see them and you're like, what is that star there for? All right, so we've hit the views pretty good. We've hit the view button pretty good today. We've hit the layouts pretty good. We've hit the placeholders pretty good, the slide masters. All right, we've hit the sections. We know how to move a slide, right? Just click and drag and drop. Let's take a look at your properties for a minute. You guys have had at least one question from properties in Excel and at least one question from properties in Word. So for those of you that have taken both of those, you know you've already seen one question on properties. And I really feel confident that if you guys see it again, it's going to be something like this. Add, something to the status. And what tripped most of you guys up on Word is you went in here and maybe it says add the word confidential to status. You went into File, you saw your properties, and you blanked out because it wasn't listed here, all right? But remember at the bottom, you've got your Show All Properties. You can click there, and now if I need my status, oh, I can't even spell. All right. All right, so if it's not a question like that, if it's not a question dealing with your properties, then you're going to get one that has to do with options. Let's go to File and Options. There we go. Under File and Options, you guys have used the proofing one before, right? You might get an autocorrect. Okay. You might get a save question that tells you to change where your auto recover is or where your default setting is to save. I don't think you guys will go in that deep, but you'll get one. If you don't get one that says to change your properties, you're going to get one that says to use your options. Okay, and it's going to be something basic. It'll be under the general, or the proofing, or the save. As long as you know where to go for that, you'll be fine. And I don't think, since you guys have seen that twice now in both Word and in Excel, I think you'll be okay with that. But I'm pretty certain you'll see one with properties. All right? All right. But let's do this one. Let's say that it tells you to change your office theme. All right? In your, maybe it's going to tell you to change your office theme. All right, so you can come in here under your file. If you're not sure where change the office theme is, you're going to get it. It's going to be under your general, your proofing, or your save. So look under your general for a quick minute. All right, and see if you see something in here. Here's your office theme. Maybe it tells you to change it to black. Okay. Now, if it tells you to change your presentation theme, which is different, see, if I click undo right here, it's not going to undo that. I would need to go back to my file and my options, and I would like to change this back to colorful. All right? Because what happens is that's going to be your PowerPoint settings, right? When you go into File, that's your PowerPoint settings. Let's say that it says to change the theme of your PowerPoint. All right, that's going to be a little bit different. Okay? That's going to fall underneath of, here's your themes right here under your design. Okay? So you've got different themes here. You can apply these themes here, so that's where that would come from. A lot of times you will see it tell you to select a theme, maybe the basis theme, and choose the blue variant. Your variants are always off to the side. Don't let that trip you up. I'm pretty sure it's going to ask you for a variant. All right. The next thing I want to share with you guys is formatting the background. What if it tells you to put a picture in the background? The last thing you want to do is insert a picture. If it tells you to put a picture in the background, please don't do this. Insert a picture and just make it real big. All right, well, that's as big as it'll go, so I guess that's in my background. All right. That's actually layering, and we'll get into grouping and layering next week. If you're told to put a picture in the background or to change the background, you'll want to go to your Design tab. In your Design tab, off to the right-hand side, you've got a Format Background button. This will allow you to format your background. Do you want it with a gradient fill? I'm feeling pretty confident somebody's going to see this one. Change the gradient fill on the background. You'll go to your Design tab, Format Background button. Anytime you mess with the background, use the Format Background button. If you're choosing your gradient fill with preset whatever, medium gradient accent 3, you'll change it there. You can apply to all. It will put it on all. If it tells you to apply it to just one slide, then it's done as soon as you click on it. If it tells you to put a picture or texture fill, put a picture in the background of slide 1. You would go to your file, find your picture, and it gets placed into the background. Okay? It's kind of tough to see on that one, so I'll add it over here just so you can see. I'm going to format my background with a picture or texture fill. I'll go to File. I'll select my picture and Insert. And if it's going on just that one, so see it's in the background. All right, now if I were to change this layout here to blank, it's still not going to let me see it. There we go. Because I've got my placeholders in there, it's in the background, but you're not able to see it real well. All right, but that's how you'll do that. Okay, if it tells you to put a picture in the background. It doesn't matter, whatever they tell you to do to your background, you're going to go to Design and format your background. Okay? If it tells you to place a pattern fill with a purple color, all right, you would come here and to put that into your background. All right, so anytime it tells you to do a background, you've got to use this format background. Don't come in here and just try to adjust just this one. And if you only select one slide and put it on there, it stays on just that one. Or you can say apply to all, and it will apply it to all of the slides. And you can see on the left it's applied to all of them. The last thing I'm going to share with you guys before I shut this thing down today is hiding a slide. Let's say that you're in a PowerPoint presentation and you're reusing it. You're reusing the presentation. All right, so I've got this PowerPoint presentation here. Let me go back to my normal view. All right, and let's say at the very end here, I don't want anyone to have access to these resources. I'd like to hide this. I can right-click on it and tell it that I would like to hide this slide. Now, if you see here, that slide is kind of grayed out. It's still there. It's still available for me. If I were to play this presentation, it would not play and go to that slide. It would not show it. Now, this presentation here has action buttons in it. So if I were to actually play this presentation here, this one has action buttons. So my resources, I said it was hidden, but it can't actually hide it because it has action buttons that takes you through the presentation. And we'll do action buttons next week. All right. So this one here is created a little bit different. But if I were to go into, oh goodness, I've really modified a lot of these. If I were to go into this PowerPoint presentation here, see if I can reset this stuff. No, at any rate, on slide 6, and then here's slide 8. And I'm going to hide slide 7. Okay, then I'll play my PowerPoint presentation. I'll go from slide 6 to slide 8. You see it skips slide 7. All right, it will not play, and it shows it as it's grayed out. So let's say that maybe you're doing a PowerPoint presentation for all of the high schools, and this particular slide, when you go to Terry Sanford, you didn't want to share this because it's specific to Jack Britt. Okay, so you hide that slide. It's no big deal. You come back later, you can right-click, and you can unhide the slide by clicking on Hide Slide again. All right, so the purpose of hiding a slide is so that it does not show during a presentation. So if you have something that doesn't really, mean something to this group, but it'll mean something later on, and you don't want to delete it, okay, then just simply hide it. Right-click and hide slide, okay? All right, that was the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys, but that was kind of a lie, because let me do a duplicate slide really quick, because we've hit up everything else here on this button, and now that's gotten really long, so you may have a tough time seeing it. So let me come over here. There we go, this one's shorter. Okay, on this new slide button, if I select the down arrow, we've gone over slides from outline. I'm going to do 2 more things, and I'm really stopping for real. It's just that I want to share these things with you guys because I feel like you're going to see them. All right, so we've done slides from outline. We've already gone over these different layouts, these different new slides that we can use, right? But what I didn't share with you is duplicate selected slides or reuse slides, okay? So let me do this one here first. I'm going to this PowerPoint so it will be obvious. I'm going to select my first slide, go to my Home tab, choose my new slide down arrow, and say Duplicate Selected Slides. How many times have you needed the same slide more than once and you've done a copy and paste, but then it doesn't paste it quite right? So this allows you to duplicate it. And a lot of times what they will encourage you is to start and end with the same slide or the same version of the slide. This way your beginning and your ending is really obvious to the audience. So to do that, you can also right-click and duplicate slide, or you can select the slide, hit the new slide down arrow, and duplicate selected slide. All right? It'll be easier than you copying and pasting. And then this other item down here is to reuse a slide. All right? It's going to bring up a task pane on the right-hand side. If I wanted to reuse a slide, let's say I've got a slide in another presentation, it would work excellent in this one. Why would I recreate that? So instead of recreating it, okay, because we talked here about if I come here to my new slide button, I can say slide from outline and pull it from a Word or a text file. But what if I have a PowerPoint? Okay, new slide down arrow, and then I'm going to say reuse a slide. Then I will choose to browse and find a different presentation. And this might get interesting. Let's see here. See if I got a PowerPoint in here. All right. And it will pull up the presentation that you have identified. It pulls it up in this task pane over here. And then once I select it, it will move it right in. So if it tells you to use slide 3, slide 9, whatever slide it tells you to choose, you can click on that slide and it will add that slide. It will reuse it. Now, if it tells you to keep the source formatting so that it looks just the same, at the bottom is a checkbox for that. Keep my source formatting, and it will. Okay? So let's check this out one more time. If it tells you to reuse slide 5 from a PowerPoint presentation called XYZ, then you'll come in here, new slide button, reuse slides, browse and find your presentation XYZ. If it tells you to use slide 2, if it tells you to use slide 2 and keep the source formatting, make sure that says it down there. If you didn't do that, then you can hit undo and check it and put it back in. All right? So, cool deal, guys? Who has questions? What you got for me? We really went over quite a bit today. Maybe this is some stuff that you guys have used before. I feel like because you've used PowerPoint more than probably most of you have used Excel, then this was probably just touching base on some of the options, and once you see them, you've got them and you're good. So I think that was good to do Word, Excel, and PowerPoint because I think Excel was stressing some of you guys out, and now we're going to hit up PowerPoint after that. Oh, the master slide. A lot of people don't even use the master slide, Brooke. They just modify the slides that are already there. So yeah, it's nice to have that reminder. No questions yet. Well, that's cool. If you have any, you let me know. Quite a few students told me they weren't even using the tips that I sent out, and it was obvious when they were taking their tests that they weren't using them. If you guys are using the tips and you want them, let me know. I'll keep sending them out. The tips are generally a test question. So you do? Okay. I'll keep sending them out. I kind of got lazy with it because, students were testing and I would say it's the tip I sent you and they're like, I never saw that. Oh, I never read that. I don't read those. So, okay, cool deal. Well, then I will keep those up. I'll keep sending those out to you guys. All right. Well, I think you guys are well on your way to having your PowerPoint be very successful. Our last online open session will be next week. And